Thank you very much. Please, thank you very much. Just need to figure out. It's the right one that progresses. Good morning, everyone. As Marty has said, my name is Terence. I'm from that lovely city called Boksburg. And Glenn, thank you very much, and the rest of you from Pretoria for inviting me. I certainly consider it an honor to be here. And it's been great so far this morning, learning from everyone. So as the presentation shows, my topic is the dash. And I guess when you hear the word the dash, various things go through your mind, okay? Dash could mean quite a few things. It in fact could mean that. There's a prize for who can tell me who that is. Wade van Niekerk, right? A very underestimated athlete. And thinking about Wade and his exploits, I mean, this young gentleman has done extremely well. And I think his achievements are underestimated in South Africa purely because of all the noise that's going on. But he's certainly breaking records like it's going out of fashion. And it's a young gentleman that we should really be proud of. Wade and what he does is the topic of my next talk, not today though, so this is just one of the dashes, okay? The dash that I want to talk about today is that dash. Can you all see that? Right? What is that? That is it's a tombstone, right? And it's a grave. Now at this point, you won't be wrong in saying, well, have we come to the right place here? I mean, we were supposed to be hearing about motivation and stuff like that. But I do believe that to be motivated, sometimes we need some stimulus. And motivation doesn't always come in the form of feel good, feel nice messages. So my message today is one that ultimately I hope will motivate you, but it's not necessarily one that will make you feel good. So if you have a look here, this is a tombstone. And you can't see what's written there, but there's the surname Hatting, Beatrice Helena Gertruda. She was born in 1885 and passed away in 1925, it looks like. And she was a moeder. Down the bottom there was a moeder. I am personally fascinated with cemeteries, and you might think that's weird, but I really am. And in fact, yesterday I spent an hour in Boksburg Cemetery, which has a history of over 100 years. And what fascinates me about cemeteries is that cemeteries tell a story. They tell stories about life. And of all the words and the images on that particular tombstone, the epitaph, the one I find most fascinating is the one that I've sort of highlighted in red and circled, and that's a dash, okay? So there's a date, born on, there's a dash, and died on, passed away on, whichever way you want to see it. And I'm fascinated with that dash. And don't worry, I didn't desecrate this grave at all. This is photoshopping type stuff, so I left the grave very, very intact. I spent about over an hour at the graveyard, and what I do is I sort of walk between the graves. I have a look at the tombstones. I have a look at the dates, and they tell amazing stories. The one thing I picked up very quickly yesterday was a young gentleman who also was born in the late 1800s, and he died at the age of 22. He was part of a rescue team at Brakpan gold mines. And in my mind, I could just imagine what he went through. But he died a hero, saving others. So a lot of stories around the dash. And I want to unpack that dash, because each of us, as we sit here this morning, are actually constructing that dash, right? We are. So I want to introduce you to another concept of mine, and it's my timeline. I call it Terence's timeline, TT. Sounds like some sports car, right? And just to give you some background as to my timeline, it's something I've been developing over a while now. And the reason I've sort of developed it is because In my simple mind, I battle with the concepts of time. I battle with the concept of eternity. I battle with the concept of life and death, and then life after death. They're just too big for my mind. So what helps me is to construct an image of the way I see it. Okay? And I'm going to share it with you right now. It's going to build up as we go along. So that's a plain, simple line, nothing fancy about that. But that is the timeline. As you see, it has no beginning, no end. Okay? So in a sense, it reflects eternity. So time, always there. What we as humans have done is we've sort of tried to make sense of it by dividing that line into now, present moment, the past, which is actually just a whole lot of moments that have gone by, and the future, which is in fact a whole lot of moments which are still to happen. So yeah, we sort of try to simplify it. Okay, so that's the first part of it. The second part is to then superimpose something that we're more familiar with, which is I call the lifespan. Okay, so we superimpose on that a lifespan, and the lifespan you can see on the top there is what I call the dash, and it's really what you see on a tombstone. That little dash represents that part of our lives. Okay, and in the Bible it says we are allocated 70, and if we're blessed, another 10. So that 60, 10, 70, another 10, 80. So on average, people live until 80. There's obviously exceptions. People die naturally earlier than that. And you'll notice here then that the dash has two events. The one event is birth, and the other is death, right? Now, I'm quite happy to give away my age. That's my birthday day, 15/11/1956, which makes me 61. Okay. And I've put it there for a reason, because the other event is death. Okay. Can anybody hazard a guess as to what TBR stands for? Sorry? To be recorded. To be recorded, yeah, close. It's actually to be revealed. And the reason I say revealed is because that date is predetermined. Right? And all it is for me is to be revealed. It's somewhere in the future. I'm certainly trusting that I get very close to that, if not beyond. But it's not in my hands, okay? It's in the Maker's hands. Okay, and then here's a nice one. Can you see that? Sorry, you guys might not be able to see it. So as a Christian, we believe then that life continues beyond that. Okay, and life takes one of two parts. It takes a path to heaven, and in the presence of our Lord and Maker, our God and Maker, for eternity. Or it takes the other route, which is to the land of sulfur and burning fire, right? And those are realities, okay? So, so that is really the timeline, and I just want to then share with you some characteristics of the timeline very quickly. There's always a start and an end, and it's inevitable for everyone, okay? They call death a leveler, and it is truly a leveler, regardless of who you are, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're a king or a peasant, a beggar, whatever, you are going to face those too. Interestingly enough, if I ask, were any of you beamed down from the planet Pluto this morning? You know, beam me down, Scotty. It'd be great. I'd love to hear from you. We are all born, and we all are at some point going to die. Okay, but I want to hone in on this dash. I want to hone in on a very specific part of it, right? And that part is 12 weeks. And you're probably wondering why 12 weeks. Well, 12 weeks is, it comes from a book that I read recently that I want to share with you some nuggets from. It's a book by an Australian nurse called Bronnie Ware. Okay, Bronnie is a nurse who nursed terminally ill patients, nursed and counseled terminally ill patients for quite a while. And she recorded, she asked the patients a simple question: what regrets do you have in life? And she started journaling these. She created a blog, but it generated so much interest that she then decided to write a book on that particular 12 weeks. And what she says in the introduction is really profound. She says that the clarity of vision and the wisdom that she got from those people that had 12 weeks to live was amazing. And I share it with you because it's wisdom that we can use. Okay? So we are in this dash somewhere, okay? And most of us are closer to there than there. Some of us are closer to this end. It doesn't matter where we are, okay? We are still constructing that dash. But the reason I stress this is that the authenticity of what these people said, they had nothing to lose, right? They weren't playing to the gallery anymore. They were facing death, 12 weeks certain death with terminal illnesses. So whatever they said came from their heart and was the truth. Okay, so, oh yeah, this is just a bit of a snippet. This is the oldest living person in the world, 116 years old, right? Far more than that 3 plus 10. She's an Italian lady, and she attributes her longevity to two things, okay, and no prizes for guessing. One is, strange enough, she has 3 raw eggs every day. Okay? And the second, for those of you who are married, this is going to be very interesting. She attributes her longevity to the fact that she's single. Okay. I didn't say that. It comes from her. Okay. Okay, so the top 5 regrets of dying people, I want to take you through quickly in the time that I have left. There's the author. And the first one is this. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Okay? So I've taken this straight from the book. That's the quote. And then there's some commentary, which I'll get you to read quickly yourself. And that's also straight from the book. Okay? And then the one in reddish is my interpretation. Okay, so this is a regret, and I believe the lesson for us is to follow our dreams, to pursue our purpose with passion. It's interesting to see the low percentage of dreams that were fulfilled, almost 50%. And the sad thing about this as well is that we have limited time. You know, that dash, you cannot ask for more time, we cannot extend that time. That time is allocated to us, and that's it. So that's the first one, living a life true to oneself. Next one. It's an interesting one. I wish I hadn't worked that hard. Now the world will tell us that that is what we need to do. The world will tell us that we need to put in 18 hours at work, that we need to step up to the plate, that we need to work for that promotion, etc., etc. That's a worldview, okay? These are true regrets of mainly men, she says, and that's because at the time she actually done this research, a lot of women were still not working, playing a different role. Okay, spending too much time on the treadmill and the existence of work. And my interpretation, it's really all about priorities, getting one's priorities right. And if you find your purpose, you can then allocate your time accordingly in your priorities. We need to get off the treadmill. Point number 3. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Okay? Because often we don't do that. Why? Because of what the world expects. So I will share with you what I expect you want from me, not what my true feelings are. And that was a third regret. There's the suppressing one's feelings. It's interesting to see as well that a lot of this has led to illnesses relating to bitterness and resentment they carried as a result of not expressing their feelings. Okay? Lesson: be the best you that you can. Really, you're unique. We're all unique. God has made us that way for a purpose. So be the best you. Be authentic. You were created a masterpiece. God didn't create rubbish. He created masterpieces. Don't die in imitation. Fourth one, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I would include your friends, family as well. There's the detail. I recently made contact with a friend of mine that I'd last seen 42 years ago. And in this day and age, with all the social media, etc., there's absolutely no excuse not to make that first contact and to recall. And it's amazing, you know. Relationships are important, and it's important to nurture them. Lesson: treasure and nurture relationships. And I firmly believe that the only thing one can take with beyond the grave is relationships. Everything else left behind, that Ferrari, that beautiful house in the suburbs, the green lawn. Unfortunately, at that point, it doesn't go along with us. Or fortunately, maybe, because that's a lot of baggage we need to leave. Relationships is what we need to nurture and treasure. And the last one. Interesting one. I wish that I had let myself be happier. Right? Strange, because you think, well, happiness is natural. It's not. The detail. Okay, while you read that, one of my barometers, happiness barometers, is I ask myself, when last did I laugh that my stomach muscles ached? Real hearty laughter. We so seldom see that, and sadly, we so seldom experience that. Choose to be happy, enjoy life. Happiness is a choice, it doesn't happen automatically. And as Glenn was saying as well, it's all around attitude. I could have gotten up this morning and said, oh, Pretoria, cold, map for life, I could sleep. Yeah, I could sleep until 10, have a good breakfast, etc. It's a choice to wake up and say, this is another day, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I'm going to make a difference. It's all a choice. Okay. And then I just want to remind you again, live, laugh, and love. I think that's from Covey. I just want to remind you again of this and put it in context. So we're talking about that particular one. And I want to thank you for listening and being attentive. But I want to leave you with one question that only you and you alone can answer. And I implore you to give it serious thought. It's a question directly from the book. It certainly got me thinking. And it's the $1 million question. Unfortunately, we can't call it the R1 million question given the way our economy is going. It's a $1 million question, and here it is. I thank you.
Well, thank you, sir.
Oh, sorry.
So what's the greatest effect? And what would you say of your achievement?
Thank you very much.